Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well and staying safe. In my previous session, we understood the BLE protocol stack, and as I already have said, GAP, that is Generic Access Control Protocol, and GATT are two important concepts when it comes to Bluetooth Low Energy, because these are the two layers which decide how the devices should be connected and how the data should be transferred. In Bluetooth Low Energy, GAP stands for Generic Access Profile. It defines how BLE devices broadcast, discover, connect, and interact with one another. Essentially, GAP governs how devices advertise their presence, how they can be found, and what roles they can assume. For example, if they can assume central or peripheral. So, let's dive deeper into these components and concepts of GAP. By the way, this is Dimple here again. In today's session, we will see GAP related concepts. What is GAP and what are the different roles and responsibilities of GAP? So, let's get started. That this is how the overall protocol stack looks like. Then these question marks I have put, right? So these are very very important layers in the entire protocol stack. So these are the important concepts we have to know, and we'll go through these one by one. So here comes ATT, here comes GATT, and here comes GAP, that is Generic Access Control. So, to begin with, GAP, Generic Access Profile. So, it provides access to link layer operations. It defines role of BLE device, manages all the advertisements and connection establishment and security. Also, this GAP defines how BLE devices form connection with each other, how they should communicate, all that is defined. We understood what is protocol. So protocol is nothing but how two devices uh, have agreed on a standard way to communicate with each other. In the same way, we have to understand what is a profile. Profile is nothing but how protocol is used to communicate between two devices. That is nothing but a profile. So, this gap is responsible for connection setup and type of connection. It has two types of connection: connectionless and connection oriented data exchange. You all will understand about what is connectionless and connection oriented data exchange in my upcoming slides. But yeah, for your connection setup, the basic connection between two devices, for that gap is very, very essential. And this gap defines strict roles for the devices. Okay, roles provide specific requirement for underlying controller, and these roles allow devices to transmit data between the transmit data or receive data, or both. So y'all should know what is a protocol, y'all should know what is a profile. Okay, profile defines how protocol is used to communicate between two devices. Protocol defines how two devices have agreed upon standard way of communication. I'm repeating these terms again and again because yes, these are very very important ones. So let's see the roles offered by GAP. So there are four roles possible, which are offered by GAP. First one is broadcaster role. A broadcaster role, as the name itself says, it keeps broadcasting or advertising the data. Okay, so for example, BLE thermometer, which keeps advertising the temperature now every now and then, or we can also see ambient temperature sensors, again, which keeps advertising the temperature data every now and then. So these are nothing but they are acting as a broadcaster role. They just keep advertising. I mean, they just keep sending data every now and then. That was the first role. Second role is observer role. Observer, so we know broadcaster keeps sending data, and the data sent by this broadcaster has to be received by someone, right? That is nothing but the observer. So observer keeps scanning for the nearby advertising devices. For these specific terms, as what is advertising, what is scanning, I have done all the videos related to this in my previous sessions. Please go through them if you don't know the exact meaning of advertisement and scanning in BLE. So observer keeps scanning for nearby advertising devices. For example, here is my mobile phone acting as an observer. It keeps scanning for which Bluetooth low energy device is sending data to it. So this was the second role possible. So all these roles are defined by gap. These are standard roles. Okay, only these four roles are possible. Anything apart from this cannot be present. Central. Third role is central. It listens for advertisements. It keeps listening for advertisements, and it can interact with any station. It can initiate and start a connection with peripheral. Okay, so that's why it's called as a master. It keeps listening for advertisement, and from multiple stations it keeps listening, and it has the capability to start a conversation. I mean, connect with the peripheral. It can connect with multiple peripherals. Okay. The fourth role is the peripheral role, the one that advertises, okay, the one that keeps advertising is the peripheral role. And once it is connected to the central, it keeps exchanging data only with that central. See, central keeps looking for open connections, it keeps advertising, and when the peripheral captures, or when the peripheral gets hold of this advertisement, it immediately connects back to the central. Once it is connected, it exchanges data only with that particular central. That was all about the roles defined by this gap. Another topic I would like to tell is GAP, Generic Access Protocol. It has two variants. One is connectionless and another one is connection oriented. In connectionless, what happens is GAT server keeps sending periodically data. So data is sent periodically every now and then. The best example for this is the BLE beacons, where it keeps sending the location data every now and then. The other one is connection oriented. So in this connection oriented, we have this concept of client and server. Once they are connected, the data is transferred from the server to the client, or vice versa. Gap can act both like the client and the server. That was all about the technical topics related to GAP, the roles and responsibilities of GAP. In my next session, I'll be dealing with generic attribute profile, which is also called as GAT. It's very easy topic, but at the same time, it's very, very confusing. So I have done the next video with lots and lots of examples, so that this GAT includes lots and lots of terminologies. So we should be knowing about these terminologies like characteristic, services, profiles. I have made it very easy with lots and lots of examples. Please stay tuned with my next video. Until then, everyone, take care. Bye. Thanks a lot.